Hi, I'm LordJekington, and I'm here to tell you the basics of the Adjibubian Truth Teller System, the ATS. The ATS will appear in the right-hand corner of all Adjibubian TV programming. All statements will be fact-checked by the Truth Teller robots we have hanging upside down in our basement. There are 4 symbols in the system: Adja, Ush Ush, Winning Smile, and Evil Trin. Adja is absolutely confirmed true. Oddity is too lazy to cite everything but the developers, Adja High Command, or other people have confirmed it as true. Call Oddity for inaccuracies, so he will be tortured severely. Ush Ush is anything that is theorized but not confirmed. It's probably true, but we do not know, and devs could say wrong or change it. Winning Smile is anything that is probably not canon and just in the film for fun. Zarp definitely happened though. We were there and were shot dead 5 times. Evil Trin is anything that is definitely wrong. Evil Trin adding fake info to video to hurt the babies. Ah! Congratulations, you are now ready to watch Nintendo TV. Enjoy the following film.
All the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray. Out there for a walk on a winter's day. I'd be safe and warm if I was in LA. California dreaming on such a winter's day. Stopped into a church I passed along the way. Well, I got down on my knees and I pretend to pray. You know the preacher like the cold. He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming on such a winter's day. All the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray. I've been for a walk on a winter's day. If I didn't tell her I could leave today. California dreaming on such a winter's day. On such a winter's day. On such a winter's day.
Welcome to the second part of the complete timeline of Scope and Shovels 2. This video covers the period of time immediately after and before the events of the games. Of speculation, headcanon. Fuck. This is effectively where the game's lore actually begins, as while many events mentioned in the previous video were actually approved, a large amount were speculation, headcanon, or entirely non-canon. There are no things to address ahead of time with this video besides a quick recap, so without further ado, let us begin. During the 2020s, Aliens from Europa known as Ajibubians arrived on Earth, allying themselves with the local human population to carve out territory in Blythe, California. Their technology began a rapid progression in technology all across the world, but with political tensions at an all-time high, war was soon upon the world. The American Civil War began, and the winners, the Antarctic Trin Inc., now beginning a Cold War, declaring themselves the Trin Empire. The Trins began colonizing Venus, but soon after, the Third World War began, and the world burned in nuclear war. The world as we know it has ended, and the magic of science and technology has faded. But the ghosts of the old world remain, and the tools to prosecute war haven't rusted away just yet. War is upon humanity once again. Some nations and states still survived without any direct change of leadership or a great cultural change, notably Switzerland and Brazil. In the present time of the game, the nation and culture of Brazil still exist, although now as the Brazilian dynasty, and Switzerland is notably still around as a neutral state, producing the Knopf pistol weapon. However, most nations aren't so lucky, with only the people's culture surviving as the national identity, rather than a direct continuation of the modern state. Ireland and France inevitably become the Emerald Empire and the Republic of Swords, or la République des Étoiles. Both retain their original cultural elements of the Irish people and the French, but their governments have completely been dissolved, and no remaining evidence of the older administrations has affected the culture of the new. At some point in time, the First War of Scopes and Shovels begins. The history of this conflict is unknown, and some modern historians debate on whether it was even after the Great Atomic War or if it was antediluvian. Regardless, the influence of this conflict's tactics echo into modern history. Battles between opposing armies were waged between stone towers shielded behind large cliff faces. Signal towers remained upright and functional at this time, and helicopters had only begun to rust into the earth recently. Soldiers in this conflict were poorly trained compared to contemporary armies, but were heavily armed, as the average marksman was armed with a 50 cal anti-tank rifle and an ancient Trin design weapon, the M1911. These armaments were made of polymer furniture, and the M1911s showed trace amounts of radioactive material, commonly seen in the ancient technology of night sights, meaning they most likely predated the technological fall. Tunnelmen were only capable of digging rather than any advanced utilization of resources for construction, but were given pump-action shotguns made from polymer furniture, and a now extremely coveted artifact, the Glock 21, a polymer semi-automatic pistol. Modern refurbished examples and freshly found examples all lack this feature, but half-life dating suggests that night sights were also applied to these guns. No nation is known to have fought during this war. The combatants are simply lost to time. But what is known is that they flew simple colored flags, suggesting these were not true nation wars, but rather a series of regional conflicts, using their supplies of relic weaponry. As the archaeological sites are spread across the world, taken from jungles, forests, and the deep cold. In 2099, the Dartmen, an ancient nation that will later become the Emerald Empire, successfully unifies the underground remnants of Dublin, now known as Sublin. They change their national anthem from A Soldier's Song to The Foggy Dew. The existence of Dartmen fully confirms that the Dart Underground, previously mentioned, was finally completed and was large enough to shield portions of Ireland from nuclear war. Eventually, the Emerald Empire is formed, and they now contain Scotland, which is now known as Super Scotland, and Britain, now known as Hibernaria, as confirmed by the SoundCloud pages for the songs Rule Hibernaria and Scotland the Brave. While the British people and culture may survive, as suggested by the song British Grenadiers, they're most likely not British and are simply just part of the Emerald Empire. At some point in time, the Emerald Empire makes a landfall in mainland Europe and consumes the territories of Germany and Poland. This is confirmed by various German songs within their song list, and the SoundCloud page for the song Aufweischer Reitermarsch, which confirms the existence of Germano-Prussian regiments within the empire. This next segment is mostly just listing off nations which have yet to get a founding date, so I'm just going to rattle off a brief description of them. A full every single nation in Scopes and Shovels 2 video is planned, but it'll be a while later. The Republic of Stars, or La République des Étoiles, exists and controls Iberia as confirmed by Times 2. They are led by President Babinu in current time and speak primarily English with French as a formal language. They produce the Thompson gun as an ancient design and the newly developed Babino rifle. They presumably control France, Spain, Italy, and the Balkans, and they probably control Portugal. The Horpslandic Republic exists as a republic and are led by Prime Minister Johan Henriksson, 5th Prime Minister. They're Swedish. They probably consist of Finland, Denmark, Sweden, judging by their songs. The nation was presumably founded by their first Prime Minister, Torren Arvidsson. UFAR, or the United Federation of African Republics, exists and are led by a president. They most likely originate from Kenya and currently control all of Africa. It has been confirmed, been confirmed by developers that this is not a full united nation, but rather a general alliance of African nations. ODDITY-X exists as a democracy. They control large portions of Eastern Europe and Russia. They probably originate from Ukraine as shown in their flag colors, but are a unified Slavic people rather than one old world nation. They have many Russian songs, and they own some parts of Kazakhstan along the Tuvatan Legion and control Czechia. The Tuvatan Legion exists and are led by Khan Atom. They own all of China, areas of Kazakhstan with ODDITY-X, and originate from Mongolia. They are one of the most populous states, and as stated by Khan Atom, gained heavy success during their founding years through classical Mongolian tactics. The Pamplonian Empire is a state originating from the Philippines under the philosophy of Aboism, made by their current emperor, Mateo Abo. They are confirmed to control large amounts of Southeast Asia and Japan. Aboism is generally described as an authoritarian, nationalistic, socialist dictatorship. However, they are not particularly fascist. Woke fascism. The Japanese people of Pamplona remember Yakuza and Toho. The Brazilian dynasty exists, and as of the 2540s are under some level of control or alliance with the Second Conjugulation. Within it are two parties, the Extremist Party and the Peaceful Party. The Extremist Party exposes the Peaceful Party and follows Lady Lu VII, although her current status and alignment with them are unknown. Wait a minute, the Second Conjugulation? Where's the...
We had a good thing, you stupid son of a bitch. It was perfect, but no, you just had to blow it up. You and your pride and your ego. You just had to be the man. If you'd done your job, known your place, we'd all be fine right now.
The First Conjugulation is a nation originating from Chile and was once a great and powerful nation. They ruled most likely a large portion of South America and were active on the global stage. However, sometime prior to the start of the game, the country collapses. They were presumably a monarchy, suggested by the Juboten. A large famine occurs in Conjugulation lands, and many suffer in starvation. Some conjubers blame the outside world for not helping them during their time of need, turning their backs on them. This resentment is well remembered. The Ajibubians briefly return to Earth for an unknown reason. The man who become known as the Conjubador, Emperor of the Conjugulation, meets with the Juboten in the dead of night. At this time, he was one of many inheritors to the throne, but after discussing ideas for how his nation might be led going forward, the Conjubador was gifted a small carrier, presumably a full stitcher's worth, but not the vessel itself, of Ajibubian weaponry, such as Brushian shotguns, Wissington Mark IIIs, and Slammin pistols, among many others. This was instrumental to Conjubador becoming who he is today. The Second Conjugulation is founded and led by Conjubador. The Second Conjugulation conquers the entirety of the North and South American continents and gains control over the Brazilian dynasty. Their territories range from Canada to their origin of Chile. They speak in Conjugalese, although Canadians were presumably the only conquered recently due to still speaking English. Major Zabi Casanova dies at the year 2539 and is buried in the Iberian Mountains, below the summit of Fuente Peak. The clock strikes midnight. War is upon the world once more. The question is not if or how, but when. On 2542, Conjugulation forces make landfall in the Old World. Alliances are put to the test, and declarations of allegiance are made. The first battle begins. Welcome to the Second War of Scopes and Shovels.
Nothing like what had come before. It's the war that we let